What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another very quick MI Short here on the MI Gardener channel. And so everything I'm doing is going to be done on my phone, so it won't have the same, video quality that we would normally have. But I wanted to get this video out to you guys. It's Sunday, I think it's August 2nd, and I was out in the garden, and I've had a lot of questions about tomato cracking and what causes them to crack, and what can you do to prevent it. And I just kind of wanted to show you just how fast it can happen if you don't do the following things. So the first thing that you can do to prevent tomato cracking is harvest early. When tomatoes they start to ripen, their skin actually begins to thin. That's why they get soft. When a tomato is green like this, the skin is actually really thick, and because it's really thick, it's a lot less prone to cracking. When the skin starts to ripen, like in the case of this Black Prince tomato, it actually starts to thin, and that's what makes it soft. And when it gets soft and it gets thin, it's more prone to cracking. So harvesting earlier is one way. But if you're like me, I like to let my stuff sit on the vine as long as possible because they gather the most the most flavor, the most sugars, and and they don't go bad as fast, because if you harvest them and take them inside, their degradation process immediately starts as soon as you harvest them. So I don't really like to harvest them if I can let them wait. But the second way that you can prevent them from cracking is by harvesting them before a rain. Now, this is one of the mistakes that I made. I just wanted to show you just how fast it can happen. So we had a rain come through here. I believe it was the remnants of either a tropical depression or a hurricane, one of the two that kind of was in the area. It was coming up and then kind of spiraled up by Michigan and brought a bunch of rain with it, which was great for the garden, but not so great for some of our ripening tomatoes. We just got hit this morning at around 10:30, 11 o'clock, and it stopped raining. It's what is it? It's about 2:30 in the afternoon. So we got a good 4 hours of rain. And I came out after the rain because it was just downpouring. I wasn't going to get soaked for a couple ripe tomatoes. So I came out after the rain, and that's how fast. That is how fast tomatoes will uptake water. And so what happens is the tomatoes, they uptake the water. If they're very dry, and you've had very dry conditions, and they take water up real quickly, because they'll actually rupture, and you'll have split tomatoes, because the tomatoes, they take on so much water so quickly that it's like overfilling a water balloon. The water balloon, it gets so big, and then you start to kind of see it expand in areas where it shouldn't, and you start to saying, I think it's gonna pop soon. And before long, if you turn that hose up, and it fills it up too quickly, it just pops. And so it's exactly the same way with your tomatoes, and that's what can happen. So harvesting before a rain is ideal. I didn't know it was supposed to rain, otherwise I would have came out here and harvested. And then the third way that you can prevent tomato cracking is by actually feeding them a steady diet of calcium. Now, calcium, what it helps do is it helps strengthen the skins. One downside to this is that you're going to have tougher skinned tomatoes. So if you're someone like me that likes to eat the whole tomato, it's something you have to weigh. You can weigh the pros and cons of having less cracked tomatoes but a little thicker skin, or obviously, you're going to feed them with some calcium and you're going to have some thicker skins but no cracking. And so I really just want you guys to know that there are some things you can do to prevent tomato cracking, and there are there are a lot of other things that that people say you can do, like you can grow crack resistant varieties. There's a lot of crack resistant varieties like this Rutgers here. So this Rutgers is a crack resistant variety, but it is it's not a very special heirloom. It's an heirloom, yes, but it's not a very special heirloom. We're growing it for food production, but it's very crack resistant. And then there are other people that will they will actually what they'll do is when tomatoes start to ripen and they get really soft like that, what they'll do is they will actually harvest them when they're green, and like when they're just starting to blush, and pull them off. That's like really preemptive and very over the top. I like to, like I said, I like to leave my tomatoes on as long as possible. And so the three that I prefer are harvesting before a rain, because that's obviously the most consistent. Growing a crack resistant variety is something that we have done but don't rely very heavily on. We have used calcium as a feeding option to thicken the skins up a little bit, and thickening the skins also helps to reduce the chances of blossom end rot, which can happen on a few of our Romas here. Romas are very prone to blossom end rot, especially when you have drought. But yeah, I think we picked them all off. But we had some blossom end rot on our Romas, and so you know, you can kind of kill two birds with one stone by giving your tomatoes some calcium, thickens up the skins and stuff like that. We've done all of those as well, but you definitely want to make sure. It's starting to rain again. Wonderful. But you definitely want to make sure that you do something, because tomatoes, if left to their own devices, you'll have a lot of cracked tomatoes, especially heirlooms that are a little more prone to cracking. You're going to have a lot more lost fruit if you don't do anything. So hopefully those tips help. Again, sorry, it's very impromptu. I don't script any of my episodes, so it's right off the cuff. I just was out here harvesting up some beautiful tomatoes and some gorgeous, massive, absolutely massive pineapple tomatoes. But as you can see here, look, see how fast that happens? 4 hours, folks, 4 hours, and you start to get cracked tomatoes. So you know, we're gonna use these as soon as possible, but cracked tomatoes, they go bad very, very fast. So you gotta get them harvested. Got to give them some calcium. If you're going to give them some calcium, start your calcium feeding about 3 weeks prior to the fruit starting to ripen, because they won't take up the calcium immediately. Won't make a huge difference immediately. And then you know, harvest before a rain, and good luck, you guys. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you learned something new. And as always, this is Luke from the MI Gardener channel, reminding you to grow big or go home. And we'll catch you all later. See ya.